All right, so earlier today we had the Zenless Zone Zero version 1.5 live stream, and we had a lot of really good info in there. But today I want to focus on the two upcoming new characters we're going to be getting in Astra Yao and Evelyn. So today I want to go over what kit details we have so far from the live stream, and I'm going to talk about the overall value, in my opinion, of each of these characters. And they both do seem pretty solid overall. So let's start with Astra. She's going to be an Ether support character, which is really good, not only because we have very few Ether characters in the game right now, but support characters, as seen in other Hoyoverse games like Honkai Star Rail, they do tend to perform very well. So that is a good sign for her already. So the main part of her kit comes from her Idyllic Cadenza state, and you can activate this by using either her regular special or her EX special attack, which means that she technically doesn't need any energy to activate the full effect of this, which is really nice. The main difference, at least from what the live stream showed us, between the special and EX special is just the amount of damage that the actual attack from the special does, but both of these will be able to put her into the Idyllic Cadenza state. And this state is going to provide team-wide damage buff, which is really nice, and it also is, kind of a good comparison. If you play Honkai Star Rail, this kind of works very similarly to Robin, but with her ultimate, how she doesn't move. But since it isn't a turn-based game, you can still dodge with Astra if you have her on the field while you're in the Idyllic Cadenza state. Then when you switch characters, when you go from Astra in this state to another ally, Astra will actually still be on the field, but if she's not your main character that you're using, she does become invincible and will continue singing and saying in her Idyllic Cadenza state to provide that team-wide damage buff, which is very good. Then her core passive also, increases her support as well, because whenever you switch a character via using a quick assist, chain attack, or perfect assist, both characters involved, meaning that the character who was in and then the character who switches in, will both get an additional attack buff as well. So you're going to be seeing some pretty solid damage increases from Astra, and since that's attack based, you're also going to be able to help anomaly characters with that as well, as long as they do scale off of attack. Then the last thing that they talked about for Astra is her ultimate, which will also put her into the Idyllic Cadenza state, and it will also heal all allies, and will also do an attack to enemies, which is pretty good for an ultimate. But the really interesting thing about it is that the next two quick assists that the team procs will, instead of quick assists, they're going to be chain attacks. So for characters who have a unique or useful chain attack, this can actually be a very solid effect for them to get that extra damage. So on teams with Astra, you're going to want to probably build up your chain attack on those characters, considering that they are going to get some more benefit from that. So that's everything that they talked about for Astra in the live stream. We're going to get more kit info for her probably on this coming Wednesday, once we get the early access footage. But overall, from what we know so far, I think Astra is going to be a very strong support character, and probably going to be the best support character in the game. I also think that in terms of team building and just general gameplay, you'll want to always put her as the first character in your lineup, because you ideally want to start battle, go into her Idyllic Cadenza state with her skill, and then swap out to your next character, so that you can not only give them the Idyllic Cadenza boost, but also give them the attack boost from the core passive. And I think that in terms of her usability, it's going to very much depend on the condition of her additional ability, because if it ends up being pretty universal, then I think that's going to help her so much. But even if she does end up being a bit limited, I don't think that'll be too bad, considering how much support and also the fact that she has healing, just how much she can benefit the team overall. So that is everything for Astra. So now let's move on to Evelyn. So Evelyn is a fire attack character, and her kit honestly has a good amount more to it compared to Astra, but I do think that Evelyn is still going to be a very solid DPS. So starting out, they talked about her basic attack, which has, it's a 5-hit combo, and when you hit that 5th hit, it's going to bind the enemy and create a kind of fire rope that connects the enemy to you, and that puts them into the binding seal effect. As Evelyn attacks enemies, she's going to gain a burning embers meter, and upon having enough in the Burning Embers meter and also having Binding Seal up, Evelyn is able to use a heavy basic attack by holding down the basic attack button to do a sort of enhanced attack for more damage. Then for her special and EX special, from what they were showing in the live stream, if Binding Seal is not active, then it's going to bind an enemy with Binding Seal. But if you do have it up, it's going to first, have a tether not only to that one enemy that you have sealed, with the Binding Seal, but you also will tether to it surrounding enemies. And then you'll do a big explosion kind of attack, which will remove the Binding Seal from the enemy. So you will have to put it up again, but it will do a good amount of damage. Then you could follow up from this attack as well into her basic or heavy basic, which means that you are able to sort of repeatedly, apply the Binding Seal, then use the special or EX special to do that extra attack and, consume the Binding Seal. So she does have a pretty solid, bread and butter kind of combo there. And whenever Evelyn switches off of the field, she actually is able to launch her regular special upon leaving the field, which is a nice way to get some extra damage before you swap into another character there. So it is a nice thing that she has there. Then Evelyn has another mechanic in her burning tether points. So they appear on the right hand side of her meter, because while the burning embers is a meter, the burning tether points, there could be up to 3 of them. And when you have max burning tether points, instead of using the basic attack or heavy basic when you put do the inputs for them, you will instead launch a chain attack. So Evelyn is another character that chain attacks are going to be really good on. Then they also talked about Evelyn's ultimate, which is going to put her into the Dance of Awakened Fire state, which is a really solid state for her because not only will she gain 1 burning tether point from it, but she will also be able to retain at least 1 burning tether point for the rest of battle, which is really strong because since you have to build up 3 every time, and whenever you use the chain attack, it is going to consume them. So being able to retain 1 means you only have to get 2 burning tether points, and there probably is more ways to get the burning tether points as well that aren't outlined in the live stream yet, but once we get early access for Evelyn, which won't be for a few weeks, then we'll be able to see how exactly that's going to work. And if you are able to use her ultimate while the Dance of Awakened Fire state is still active, then they're going to have just some enhanced animations for the ultimate, which I don't think will impact what the ultimate does at all, but I think it's just a bit of a flashier kind of animation. Then the last thing they talked about for Evelyn is that she is able to dodge attacks by attacking at the correct timing, which is, it's kind of similar to how Soldier 11 gets her extra damage, but instead of extra damage, she is able to just do an auto dodge. So if you can get that timing down with a bit more skill and practice, that can be really good as well to make the most out of her on-field time, because she is going to want a lot of it. That's everything we have for Evelyn from the stream. I do think she is going to be a pretty strong DPS character. Definitely is going to benefit, from a character like, of course, depending on her additional ability and who she'll, work with. But if she does work with Lighter, I think he'll probably end up being best in slot. And when it comes to just fire teams in general, I do think that if you have a fire comp, you can comfortably replace Soldier 11 with Evelyn if you want an upgrade, but it might not end up being super necessary. We'll have to see once we have her actual damage numbers. And yeah, I think overall she's gonna be solid, but I don't think she's as much of a must-pull potential as Astra. But I'm not gonna put that label on either of them yet until we have their full kits. So that is everything for the 2 new characters here. I'd love to see in the comments down below who you're the most excited for and if you plan on pulling either of them. I am definitely going to be pulling for Astra. I'm still undecided on Evelyn. We'll see how things go. But that's going to be it from me. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed and want to see more content from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But with that, I will see you all next time.